Get it? I probably visit where Katrina hit, and damn sure do it.
don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display, 'cause you don't own me. try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I please. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. I don't tell you what to say. Don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, I would have a show like Oprah. I would be the host of Everyday Christmas. Give Travis a wish list. I'd probably pull an Angelina and Brad Pitt and adopt a bunch of babies that ain't never had shit. Give away a few Mercedes like, here lady, have this. And last but not least, grant somebody their last wish. It's been a couple months that I've been single, so you can call me Travis Claus minus the ho-ho. Get it? I'll probably visit where Katrina hit, and damn sure do a lot more than FEMA did. Yeah, can't forget about me, stupid. Everywhere I go, I'ma have my own theme music.
Oh, every time I close my eyes,
What you see, bro?
I see my name in shining lights. Oh, yeah,
And what else?
a different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire. When I'm a billionaire.
Let's go. I'll be playing basketball with the president, dunking on his delegates. Then I compliment him on his political etiquette. Toss a couple million in the air just for the heck of it, but keep the 5s, 20s, 10s, and bins completely separate. Yeah, I'll be in a whole new tax bracket. We in recession, but let me take a crack at it. I'll probably take whatever's left and just split it up, so everybody that I love can have a couple bucks. And not a single tummy around me would know what hungry was, eating good, sleeping soundly. I know we all have a similar dream. Go in your pocket, pull out your wallet, put it in the air and sing.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad.
So bad.
Buy all of the things I never had.
Buy everything.
I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
What up, Oprah?
Oh, every time I close my eyes,
What you see, bro?
I see my name in shining lights. Oh, yeah,
And what else?
a different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
Yeah. Sing it.
When I'm a billionaire. be a billionaire so freaking bad.
All right, how are you guys? Let me get this screen pulled down and the music turned down. So we certainly streamed this live across all our Facebook groups. And then if you like interacting, I always encourage you to join us on the Zoom call. But I want to show you real quick because this is actually our second class, which is the lead generation model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But if you find the Heart of Atlanta group on YouTube and you go to our playlist, underneath our playlist are all our different classes, right? And we interview millionaire real estate agents on down to our industry update, all that stuff. But if you find the videos, and inside the video, you'll see the same cover of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. This was actually the first class I did, which was the economic model. We did that last month. So if you're playing catch up, don't feel like you're lost. You can go back and watch the economic model. You certainly can learn and participate today and jump on and catch back up by watching that at your leisure. And certainly we'll post this video there as well once we're done. So here we go. We are going to start today with the lead generation model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And hopefully everybody can see me. But I'm going to keep the screen up because I think it's more important you see the content than you see me. But I'm here, certainly available for questions. And then if you're watching on the live stream, you can certainly jump in on the Zoom call if you want to ask any specific questions. But the content of this class comes out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And what is this book? I always like to start with that. Well, if you understand that Gary Keller, early on in his career, spent a lot of time researching what successful real estate agents look like, what their business looked like, all the principles of their business. And if you just took a snapshot of 100 top producing real estate agents, it would look very chaotic. It would just be all kinds of different people and what their businesses look like. But after you kind of compile that research starts to come down into what best practices are. And that's really what this book is. It's the compilation of research of best practices of what it takes to succeed at a high level in real estate. Now, this book was written over 20 years ago at this point, or close to it at least. The reality is, has it changed that much? No, it hadn't. There's some tweaks, and we'll talk about some of the tweaks, but the foundational success of what it takes to build a real estate business has not changed. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that this book is just as relevant today as it was when it was written. There's some tweaks that we'll talk about, but it doesn't change the fact that it's highly relevant. I talk about, like, we covered it in a different class, how to win friends and influence people. It was written like 50 years ago. Has that really changed? No. The content's probably been repackaged hundreds of times, but the foundation is there. So just a little thing on the book today. So here's what I want to talk to you about around the lead generation model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Do you realize when it comes to business that there's a mathematical formula behind success? And that mathematical formula isn't just specific to real estate, it's all business. If I own a CVS corner store, there's a mathematical formula. If I own Amazon, I wouldn't be here if I owned Amazon, but well, maybe I would. I don't know. I love what I do. But nonetheless, there's a mathematical formula to what success looks like. How many people click on the website? How many people view? How long they view? There's all these formulas, right? Well, real estate's no different. So whether you want to make $1 million a year, you want to make $250,000 a year, $100,000 a year, you want to sell 4 houses next year to pay for your family vacation. It's your goal, and that's what's important. But understand there's a mathematical formula that says if this happens, you'll succeed your goal. And really, that's kind of what the economic model was that I did last month, that I showed you where the YouTube link was if you wanted to go watch that class. It's really just the math formula that says if you want to make $250,000 net, this is what listings need to look like. This is what buyers need to look like. These are your conversion ratios. And by the way, you need to go on 2 appointments a week, 1 buyer, 1 seller to achieve your goal at the end of the year. And it really kind of breaks it down to appointments, because we've talked, why is the appointment number such an important number? Well, the reality is real estate agents only have 2 problems. They have 1 problem that lies on one side of that appointment number and 1 problem that lies on the other side of that appointment number. And those are the only 2 problems they have. Guess what? Lead generation is a big part of that. So if I know from my mathematical formula, I need to go on 2 appointments a week to achieve my goal, and I'm not going on 2 appointments a week, I have a lead generation problem. I'm not getting in front of enough people. But let's say I'm going on 3 appointments a week, but I only needed to go on 2 to achieve my goal, but I'm still not hitting my goal. Then I got a conversion problem. So I only have a lead generation problem or a lead conversion problem. Today is all about lead generation and how to build what I would call a lead generation machine to take you where you need to go. And understand that this book, the income goal this book is written around is $1 million net. That's just the context of the book. So the mathematical formulas you read about in this book all end with $1 million in your pocket at the end of the year. That doesn't mean it has to be your number. It just means that's what the book was written on. So let's tweak the formulas to make it real for you through the economic model, or it's coming up fast. October is usually when we do business planning clinic, stuff like that, and you'll get real specific with your goals. So that's really what the lead generation model is. But I wanted to throw one other topic at you before we jumped off and started diving in. I want you to understand that this model, this perspective, is a relentless pursuit by top producers. They relentlessly pursue lead generation. And that's what sets them apart from everybody else, is they understand this is it, right? They go deep at this. So let's go backwards real quick just to make sure everybody understands. There's really 4 fundamental models of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And then they've added this 5th model, which is expansion. But just real quick, economics is the mathematical formula that says I want to make this money. Here's the formula. I need to go on this many appointments in order to achieve my income goal at the end of the year. Model number 2, where the rubber meets the road. Lead generation is it. This is what, as I said, the relentless pursuit of top producers. They move towards this lead generation model. Next month, we'll cover the budget model, which is all about holding your money accountable. And then, of course, in October, we'll wrap up with the organizational model, which is all about team building and leverage and getting into business with the right people so that your business can go bigger and better than what just you and your Superman or Superwoman cape can accomplish by yourself. So just quick summary on that. This is important. We always start with this. And why is this such an important thing for real estate agents? Is because we are notorious for getting wooed by shiny pennies. We are notorious from going, well, you know, luckily there's not a big vendor hall at our mega agent camp for us to attend because it's virtual this year. But I've walked through there myself and heated the credit card up as I was walking through buying shiny penny stuff, thinking it's a quick path to success, when the reality is we gotta stop and build a foundation to our business and find that foundation of success through models, right? The models are what the foundation is, and then throw creativity on it. I was laughing, thinking about the Tesla cars, right? Tesla didn't sell all their cars because their doors opened like wings. They sold all their cars because they figured out how to make a great electric car first, and then they put cool features to it. But the cool features would not have sold the car had it not been created to be a foundationally sound electric car. Does that make sense? So you have to have the foundation first. You have to have those models, and then you can throw the creativity on top of it. Everything in life works this way. You know, if you've ever tried to lose weight, you know that we've all tried creative ways of doing it. But the truth is, the way to lose weight is how many calories you put in your mouth and how many calories you burn throughout the day. That's the model to how to lose weight. But we try every shiny penny out there, me included. So just a reminder to all of us that foundationally, we got to build our business foundationally before we try the shiny penny and creativity to that. And the other reminder I want to bring to the table is really this breakthrough model. Sometimes we call it going from entrepreneurialism to purposefulness, or going from E to P. But I want to point out the little black box at the bottom left, which says your natural ability. Everybody's got natural skill sets, and your gift basket of talents you bring to the table, and every one of us has a ceiling of achievement that will take us to. And once we bounce off that ceiling of achievement, it actually kind of knocks on our ego a little bit, because we like to show up as Superman and Superwoman and control freak and all the fun stuff, but we realize that natural ability actually ends up holding us back if we don't go back and put foundational models in place first. Lead generation model is one of those foundational models. You have to have a model or a system to generating leads. And once you have that, it creates that breakthrough that takes you up to that next ceiling of achievement. And then we can throw some creativity on it. In the Tesla analogy, now we can make the doors open goofy and look like wings, or now we can do all the fun stuff that allows us to get there, but not until we create a first level of success. And then those improved models in this world would be new lead generation strategies. So once I create a foundational lead generation model, and I create a certain level of success, maybe then I start doing some fun things like pay-per-click, or some fun things like client parties, and spending a little money and seeing what kind of return I can get off of it. But not until I build the model first. And we'll talk about that. And then again, you'll hit another ceiling and you break through. And then at some point in time, in context of lead generation model, you'll start scaling your lead generation with money, really. I'll take on a second farming neighborhood. I'll up my internet pay-per-click budget from $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And it starts to scale my lead generation, which creates new breakthroughs. But just understand, whether we're talking about the economics or the lead generation or anything in life, foundationally is what creates that first breakthrough from our natural skill sets. And then we start to add on top of that with creativity, and certainly money. It becomes a fuel to go faster, right? So just concepts on that. Any questions on that before I jump into this? All right. So this is the famous triangle. And if you've never seen this triangle, that means you haven't read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which is a red flag, I guess. But nonetheless, there's 3 words on the outside of this triangle, which are leads, then listings, then leverage. And as a real estate agent grows up inside the triangle, from thinking about what success looks like to going out and getting your hands dirty and making the success happen, to becoming a business professional and making sure you're netting the success you want out of your business, and then creating a true passive business where the money flow comes to you, but you're not doing all the work. And then there's this philanthropic, make a difference in the world aspect on top of all this that says, can you go change your community? And can you go change others' lives, which is the give, right? But that's how we grow up. But what I want to bring your attention to are the 3 words on the outside. Foundationally, you've got to win with lead generation. Winning with lead generation can mean a lot to a lot of different people, but at the end of the day, it's what makes our whole world go round, right? It's what creates it. Now, I've been in leadership with Keller Williams for a long time, and it baffles me, but some people walk in the door and think, okay, I got my real estate license, where's the leads? And it just doesn't work that way. And I hope that's not a news flash, but you have to be purposeful. You have to go build a machine to go get leads, right? You know, the book talks about the leads are the first of the 3 L's on leads, listings, leverage. Embracing the benefits of the lead generation model means you are on your way to building a system for consistently generating leads and following up with them that will bring you the business and allow you to grow as big as you desire. Remember, think big. This is a model that scales as your database grows. So you're building a system today. You'll grow your database over time. We'll talk about that. And ultimately, it scales large with you as you go. And sometimes the way you build a database is different from the person sitting next to you. Somebody grew up in the prep school in town and knows everybody in town, and you know, was certainly in all the social circles, and their database is pretty fluid. And there's other people that move to town and know nobody. And the reality is that they both want to create a successful career in real estate. They still have to go generate the leads the same amount, but they're going to do it different ways, right? Now, once you create a success level in real estate through leads, this is a one-off conversation, but I want to just kind of give you a perspective. You realize listings, the second L, is still a lead generation conversation. Because what happens is you shift your lead generation to being listing focused. And it's pretty easy, if you haven't figured out by now, to go out and find buyers in a real estate market. It's not so easy to go out and find sellers. And the reason being is sellers is a mind share game. Sellers is a presentation game. Sellers is a strategy game of lead generation. And there's a couple hard leaps in people growth curves in real estate. The 2 hardest leaps are going from leads to listings, and then ultimately listings to leverage. So actually becoming a listing agent is a strategy, but it's not an easy leap. And and hiring that first assistant, starting to build leverage around yourself, is a difficult leap as well. And that's what we're here to help guide you through. But at the end of the day, it starts with leads, and that's where we're going to start. Any questions there? All right. So here's the famous 80-20 rule. So this is also called Pareto's principle. Easiest way to explain it is 20% of what you do in your day creates 80% of your income. Or 20% of your energy, your effort, creates 80% of your results. It also says 20% of the realtors do 80% of the business, or vice versa. 80% of the realtors do 20% of the business. But where's the message in all this? Here's how I want you to think about this. The most educated, customer service, polished, coolest marketing, best website real estate agent doesn't always make the most money. Why? Because sometimes the walking disaster of a real estate agent that generates an enormous amount of leads makes a lot of money. Now, hear me clearly. I'm not advocating for you to be a walking disaster of a real estate agent. We might actually get out of business with you if you're a walking disaster of real estate agent, but I want you to understand the principle I'm explaining. He or she that generates the most leads tends to make the most money. He or she that has the best presentation, best looking marketing doesn't always translate to the most money. And I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. I'm just making a point in truth here that the reality is you want to make a lot of money in real estate. This is the one skill set you got to master, how to go generate a bunch of leads, right? And that is the 20%. So I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. Lead generation in our industry is the 20%. So the reality is, be both. Have the coolest marketing, be the most educated, the most customer service friendly, but also be that agent that generates the most leads, and you'll find success at the highest level. And that's the truth, as they say. So let's dive into what all this is. When the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book was written, he wrote this book with the context of a real estate agent's business needs to be marketing based, prospecting enhanced. And the reason they wrote this book that way is because you can touch the most people the fastest with marketing. Because marketing goes to the many, prospecting goes to the one. I'll say that again. Marketing goes to the many, prospecting goes to the one. So once this book was written, the economy shifted in 2008, and they wrote the book Shift. So Shift is an addendum to this book that says, these are the foundations of how to succeed in real estate. By the way, in tough economic times, act this way. And that's what Shift is. But Shift said, you need to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And now we still say prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And here's why. If you're taking notes or putting something down on a piece of paper, it's speed to the lead. And the speed to the lead is such a big deal right now. And it doesn't mean that you can't do it with marketing. It just means prospecting's faster. And prospecting is a one-on-one, time intensive, as you can see the words on the screen. It's one-on-one, time intensive, proactive, but it gets immediate results. Marketing is heavy money, meaning you've got to spend a lot of money in marketing. It's putting the word out there. It's putting the feelers out there with call to action for people to call you. And it's a long-term approach. The most effective lead generation is actually both of this. It's a blend of this. And that's why it's prospecting based, marketing enhanced. So I want you to think about something for a minute. What shifted from 2008 when the economy shifted to now in real estate and how the consumer finds their real estate agent? It's the internet.
It's all online. Yeah.
All online, right? So that's why it's prospecting based marketing enhanced now. Speed to lead is such an important thing because the internet changed the game. Before we weren't fighting, all these, I call it clickbait or pretty pictures, click here, lead created, all that. So we as real estate professionals have got to be on our game, and speed to the lead is everything right now, which is why prospecting based marketing enhanced is such a big topic. The other thing is you have to use marketing to go big. And the reason being, you only have so much time in the day. Prospecting base is time intensive. You can scale a team or a business by bringing on other people to help you prospect. But the reality is, to scale and go big, marketing is crucial. Prospecting's easily tracked. You know quickly when you're getting a response. You have that feedback from people. It's skills based, it's trainings based, and it's leverage based in terms of talent. All these elements you can work on and improve. Yesterday I was a judge for the local Young Professional Networks chapter, and they had a head-to-head script off contest. And I mean, there were people shaken. They were so nervous to do this. But the reality is they were in the room practicing and working on their skill set, right? And I mean, kudos to them for even participating and doing that. But the reality is they were focused on, how do I get better at this prospecting part of my lead generation? So make sure you understand the concept of speed to the lead. And the other concept you got to understand here is the relationship between time and money. So when you are new in real estate, you have a lot of time and probably not a lot of money unless you came into the industry with money. When you're successful in real estate, you don't have a lot of time left because you're busy, but you probably have money that you can leverage back into your business. So you have this relationship with time and money as you go through your real estate career, and you navigate it. But the reality is, no matter what, prospecting based is got to be a reality of your business model going forward. And that's what I wanted you to take, was speed to the lead, time versus money, and certainly marketing is something that helps you scale going big. So here's a list of all the different things that, and it's been updated, which the funny part of all this was you realize social media was not in, wasn't even in the original Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So you realize social media is a big part of our businesses these days. So you can see on the left side is all the prospecting activities, right? For everything from calling on for sale by owners, expireds. I'm going to give you the disclaimer on the do not call list here in a little while. Just solds, just listeds, past clients, all these people you can call and talk to. And then circle prospecting is also called geographic farm area. Going on apartments and corporation to builders and banks and all the different people that you can prospect to. They put kiosks in high traffic areas as a prospecting activity. It made me think for a minute, but I guess if you're sitting in a kiosk, you can be proactive in talking to people. And then one of the coolest ones is actually teaching. So a lot of successful agents, as they're scaling their business, find out where their referrals come from and they go teach in those markets. And you have to realize, as a leadership person of a market center, if a successful agent reaches out to us from Chicago and says, hey, I want to come teach in your market center for free, come on, please. We're happy to have you come down and share your knowledge, right? And then it creates those relationships for referrals. It's actually a big part of prospecting for referral business. And it's certainly, you could do teaching and speaking to investors or first-time home buyers and things like that. We did a big first-time home buyer seminar, I guess it was a month ago, and it was an opportunity for prospecting. However, of course, there's so many more opportunities around the marketing. And what I want to share with you is, if you look at the stuff on number 3 under online, I want to just kind of talk to you through this for a minute, because our industry gets a little confusing around online lead generation. And a lot of agents lose a lot of money here, or get confused, or get sold a bill of goods, and all the above. So even though it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to reorder it from most effective to least effective. So most effective is number 1, pay-per-click advertising. And the second most effective would be SEO. The third most effective would be portals. And the fourth most effective would be social media. And let me talk you through this. So social media has a 1% conversion ratio. So what's that mean? Well, it's actually pretty easy to generate leads on social media. I could throw $100 out on a Facebook ad, and if I know what I'm doing, and we can teach you how to do this, I can get $1 a lead results, and I can create 100 leads for $100. Now, some of them are going to say Donald Duck at Disney.com, and we get that. But at a 1% conversion ratio, that means I'm going to have 100 leads, and I got a really good shot at closing one of them. But I got to call 99 that are not good. So that discourages a lot of real estate professionals, because that just seems like a lot of hard work for very little results. If I know 1 out of 100 is an actual potential closing. Now, if I told you, would you spend $100 to sell a house? Every one of you would say yes. But the thing is there's this 99% non-conversion in between that $100 and that closing. So it's just not the highest conversion ratio. But if I was a brand new agent, every week I'd be popping $50 or $100 into Facebook ads, just so I had somebody to call, because I don't have anybody to call anyway. So I'm working my lead, and I'm growing my database at the same time. So it's a 1% conversion ratio. Yes.
Okay, so would it be like soliciting if like I put postcards and stuff on people's cars? Like, so say for instance, I'm at the mall, right? And I have like new listing postcards, like, part of farming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put it on their cars, like on their window sills. Like,
Sure.
Is that normal, or is that good?
I mean, I don't know what the rules and restrictions of the mall are. And I'm sure you might get chased off at some point, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a marketing or an advertising activity. I mean, it would be the same thing as somebody putting a flyer on your door at your house. You're just doing it on cars instead. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's not really no rules like that when it comes to like marketing.
It depends on the business. You always have to default to the business. Just like an HOA may have a no solicitation clause, you can't, if there is a law where the mall says no solicitation on our premises, they probably should have something posted, but or the little security guards might chase somebody off. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Perfect. So back to the online stuff. So social media is at the bottom. It's got a 1% conversion ratio. Then above that would be the portals. And here's what the portals are: Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, the big lead aggregators. So why are those leads more a higher conversion ratio than social media? Is because somebody actually went there looking for real estate. Social media, they just clicked on pretty pictures. They actually went to Zillow, went to Realtor.com, went to Homes.com to actually look at real estate, and then the leads created. So those portals will turn around and sell you those leads for probably 30, 40% referral fee. But they did all the work, and you're going to get those leads if you're a Zillow Premier agent or whatever. And the hierarchy of that consumer is much higher on those type leads. And then you get up into the SEO and the pay-per-click stuff, which is the premium online leads. And here's why. I type into Google, homes for sale, Atlanta, Georgia. I type into Google, luxury real estate in Buckhead. I type into Google, 1234 Peachtree. And that tells Google I am specifically looking at real estate in my search. And it's a very emotional connection to those results, right? So if Google can create a lead around that, it typically turns out to be a higher chance of closing than somebody that clicked on a pretty picture on Facebook, or somebody that might have just been checking out real estate on Zillow. Does that make sense? So you understand the hierarchy of that. And by the way, the price goes up the higher you go. So that Google pay-per-click stuff, it could be in a couple $1,000s a month range, right? The portals, the Zillows and the Realtor.coms and stuff, you're going to pay heavy referral fees at closing, but not a lot of upfront cash, which is why it's sexy right now. But then the social media is low cash, but low conversion ratio. So, but it's just part of your lead generation machine. Does that make sense? So advertising, broadcast, all this stuff. I want to get your head wrapped around something for a minute. Number your piece of paper 1 through 4 and follow where I'm going. There's only 4 ways to build a real estate business. The first way is a relationship approach. And a relationship approach is build a database, work through the relationships of that database to create the success you're looking for, right? Sphere of influence, we use the term. The second approach is a sales approach. Your sales approach is all scripts and dialogues and objection handling, and it's everything on the left side of this screen, all the prospecting activities, the FSBOs, the expireds, all that stuff. The third approach is a marketing approach, which is you realize I could walk into a city and know nobody, and if I had enough money, I could market my way to success. And the reality is I can buy business with money through marketing and advertising and things like that. Internet and online is a subset of marketing. And the fourth approach of building a real estate business is what I call the corporate approach, which is the same thing as the relationship approach, but business to business. It's builders, banks, REOs, relocation company, all those third-party companies. So there's really only 4 ways to build a real estate business, right? But here, let me pull the onion back for you for a second. You realize that every top producer in real estate built their business on one of those methods, and it singularly, not a combination. So they're either a relationship type agent or they were a expired listing prospector or a heavy marketing type agent, and they created huge success there first. Now, if you look at their business today, it may have aspects of all of it, but foundationally, they built it on one of those first. 99% of them, I'm sure there's an outlier out there somewhere. But the reality is, if you're getting your head wrapped around building your lead generation model, where are you trying to go? Are you trying to be a relationship-based agent? Are you trying to blow this thing up by spending a lot of money? Are you wanting to be, you don't have a lot of relationships, so you need to go into a sales mindset with scripts and dialogues so you can go faster. You got to make those choices. Most people don't start out in the corporate world unless they just have a brother or cousin or somebody that's in a decision maker in one of those type companies. All that being said, you've got this smorgasbord of opportunity you can build your lead generation model around. However, you're not going to do all this. And I use the analogy of you don't want to take a shotgun approach to building a real estate business. You want to go straight at it. So you're going to use less of these, but go faster and deeper with the ones you do choose. So for instance, there's this thing called the rule of 4. And the rule of 4 says, here's what KW Research says. This is updated annually by KW Research and shows the top 82% of business comes from only 4 sources. The top source generates the most. Narrow your choices for lead generation activity, and it's best to pick a few and master them. So what is this slide telling us? Pick 4 and master them, right? Here's what it says, the top of the top. The top lead generation sources for millionaire real estate agents were online advertising, i.e. that pay-per-click and all that stuff, right? The expensive stuff. Remember, this was the research of the top. So they had the money. It doesn't mean it has to be yours. Sphere of influence was number 2. Repeat business, referrals, and offline advertising like direct mail, yard signs, etc. And they even write here, they say, this doesn't mean these are the best sources for you, although they could be, right? We know that the average millionaire real estate agent receives the bulk of their total business from the top 4 lead sources, while they constantly search for new opportunities in the realm of lead generation. They focus on mastering just a few methods. I think that's such an important thing to understand is to go big, you shouldn't wake up today and go, I think I'm gonna write a newsletter today and send out a newsletter, and wake up on Saturday and go, today's a good day to post a Facebook ad. Great job, Sabrina. SEO, forgive me, stands for search engine optimization. So in the Google world, if I typed homes for sale, Buckhead, Georgia, there's gonna, at the top of Google, there's all the paid advertisement websites that show ad next to them, but that cause me to be at the top of the page. But SEO are all the websites that rank high, but don't pay, if that makes sense. All the words in the website, all the links in the website, there's a whole science to it. And it causes people to organically find you instead of you paying for them to find you. Does that make sense? So anyway, so this, do what?
Repeat that again.
SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it's the way the consumer finds you on Google searches or Yahoo searches organically not paid advertising.
Thank you.
So you realize if you type something into Google, there's a section at the top, which is the paid advertisement, and then there's the organic section. The paid for part at the top is Google pay-per-click, and the organic section is SEO. Make sense? People tend to find the paid for section faster, but trust the organic section more. That's a different way of saying it. All right, so this is such an important concept to understand. Any questions before I go past this? I want you to make sure you get your head wrapped around, hey, I have options, but I probably should understand what I'm trying to create business-wise, and then I should pick 4 sources and go big with those 4 sources, and not just wake up on a whim and decide I'm going to do a Facebook ad this Saturday. I should actually have a system to it. If
Yeah,
that's
what
one
I'm
of my
gonna
sources.
ask. So should I just build a website, like my own real estate website, and then have the SEO and all that stuff attached to it?
Yeah, SEO, I would tell you to read books on it first. And if you really want to play the SEO game, you got to imagine if I type in homes for sale, Atlanta, Georgia, the reality of me winning that SEO game with tens of thousands of real estate agents is pretty low. So you have to go more niche-y, if that makes sense. So I could say homes for sale, Ashford Park, Brookhaven, Georgia. And I got a better chance of winning that SEO organic search than I do homes for sale, Atlanta, Georgia, because it's more specific. There's a science to it. Just having a website doesn't get you there. There's a whole back end stuff that people pay a lot of money to try to get that ranking. Truth is, you can do it yourself if you understand it. But other than that, I'd tell you to go read a book first, just to get your head wrapped around what it is. Make sense?
Yeah, I've heard about
Mika, you got a question?
broker search. It's like a marketing agency, broker search. I don't know if you heard of it.
Maybe. I've heard of a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know that one specifically. Mika, you raising your hand?
Yes. So my question is, I have my Facebook group that I created, 1,600 people, and I did it to have a sphere of influence. And now I'm working on targeting people to start doing more real estate related posts. Should I focus on the people where I have engagement and interact with them most, or take that group and break them down by where they live and demographics and start targeting them that way? I just have this big group now of potentials that I'm trying to figure out the best way to go into and get the most leads possible.
Yep. So in 2 slides, I'm going to cover that. And if I don't, come back on, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. All right. So once you get your sources and you know what you're going after, then you got to have the plan. So this top part of this slide talks about the lead generation. So what are the things, what are the 4 ways you're going to build your real estate business from prospecting and marketing? And all those things are going to capture leads for you. And those leads are going to come into your database. And inside your database is what's called relationship management, okay? And the lead generation machine you're building puts the leads into your database. But once they get into your database, one of the most fundamental questions you've got to ask yourself as a real estate professional, how are you going to keep up with it and manage it? Now, we bring up Keller Williams Command to the table as a contact resource management, a relationship management tool. It's included with you being with us. And I think it's a great product. Do you have to use it? No. I used to use a product called Top Producer. And And this is going on 15, 20 years ago. The reality is you want a product that's connected to social media. You want a product that is cutting edge with marketing, and you want a product that's connected to data, i.e. listings, photos, and all that stuff. So not all CRMs are created equal. I put command at the top, but I'm not making this a command sales pitch. I'm just making this a conversation that says you need to understand that the CRM you choose and use creates half the success here, and the ability to keep that that funnel going. So what happened is the leads form relationships, and then contacts strengthen existing relationships. And you prepare contacts for conversion, interactive and needs-based offerings. And then from that comes business. And on the database side, it's new clients or repeat business. And then there's certainly a referral aspect to your to your business. Does everybody understand how that works? I think it's really important to understand the CRM part. I want to draw something for you guys real quick. Actually, I'll draw it here in a minute. So that's kind of the relationship management funnel. Then we have what's called all the different plans in how you communicate. But let's do this. Let me draw here real quick. Let me get my thing up here. Mm-hmm. 5 seconds here. All right, can y'all see my screen? All right, so I want you to think about something here. So there's 2 kinds of people in your database, and we're gonna split them down the middle. And there's the people that you know, or we'll call them the Mets. And there's people that you don't know, and we're gonna call them the non-Mets, right? So Mets means I've met you, we're on a face-to-face name relationship. If I passed you in the aisle at the grocery store, I would say hello. We have a relationship. Non-Mets means you may know of me, but we don't have any kind of relationship yet. So in this context, I'm going to show you this, and then I'll go back to the slide. So we do what's called a 19 to connect to our non-Met groups of people inside of our database. 19 to connect is 19 times over the course of a year, I'm going to reach out to them to create mind share that hopefully causes me to meet them. I'll give you an example. If I took a neighborhood, Chastain Park, and I wanted to farm Chastain Park, I could do 19 activities to Chastain Park, trying to connect with the people there in terms to move them into my Met side of my database, which means I've met them and I have a relationship with them. Does that make sense? So once I meet them, they come over to the Met side. And I have this 1-2 cement program, which is a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you just established. And once I meet them, I put them into what's called this 36 to convert plan. We used to call it a 12 direct and a 33 touch. It's now called, best practice says 19 to connect and 36 to convert. Here's what you need to understand. There is a big difference between building a relationship and maintaining a relationship. What's the difference?
I would say this is
Building a
Christina.
relate.
I want to say a question
One more
to the
time,
audience.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, I would say building the relationship is managing to build rapport so you actually connect and then maintain it. That's a continuous effort. Like you need to stay in touch and, continue to have that relationship.
correct. So if I don't have a relationship with you and I put you on an email drip campaign where you receive 36 emails from me over the course of the next 12 months, does that build a relationship?
No, they just feel
No, it
annoyed.
doesn't. They're annoyed. But if I have a relationship with you and we're on a first name basis and I send you 36 emails over the next 12 months, then it's a maintenance plan of our relationship because we already have the relationship. So in real estate, you got to get your head wrapped around, I'm maintaining the relationships I already have, and I can do this plan to maintain those relationships, but I do all these other things to build relationships. And I shouldn't treat them the same because relationships are typically built face to face or on the phone. And relationships can be maintained with social media, email, texting, yada, 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 right? So you got to get your head wrapped around. There's two different kinds of things going on here. So building relationships is I'm building a relationship with people I don't have a relationship with, and I'm maintaining a relationship with people that I have a relationship with. See the difference? The reason I point this out, early in my career, I watched tons of real estate agents slap 200 names into a database and start sending them 33 emails a year. And they get very frustrated because it never turned into business. Well, they never had a relationship with them in the first place. They were just names on a list, right? So you got to understand it's important to get the distinction here. So let me go back to this presentation here. And oh, where'd it go? Oh, you gotta love when your computer disappears. There it is. Insight. All right. So now when you look at this, you'll understand 19 to connect is to build a relationship. I'm going to call my farm area 4 times a year and tell them what's going on. There's summer party or blah, 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 blah. I'm going to send them an email, postcard, market report once a month. I'm going to do 2 direct mails, such as a magnet or a calendar or something. And then I've got an annual party at the park for my farm area. And my whole goal is to connect with them and build a relationship. And once I meet them, I'm going to do a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you just established and opens the door for future interactions. What's a high value touch? We might go to dinner. We might go to an event together. If I met them in context of my children, I might schedule a play date. I mean, whatever the high value touch is, solidifies the relationship. So now when I put them into my system of 36 to convert, it means something to them, right? And then there's 4 telephone calls once a quarter. I would do a bi-weekly email. I would do 2 events a year, and I'm going to do 4 direct mail, higher value marketing pieces. And that's my system that everybody's on, but it only works if I have that relationship. Make sense? Any questions on that? This is where people fall apart. Is one is they want to try to find the easy button, if you will, and they think you could just send everybody emails. It doesn't work. My relationships are not maintained by emails, or they just stick people on some kind of sporadic marketing campaign. There's a reason this is all spelled out this way. Make sense? So if you want to go big, even if you just, let's say you have 2,000 people in your database, and it's overwhelming to even think of this, find the top 200 and run it on the top 200 and build those relationships and maintain those relationships at a high level. And that's really how the lead generation machine creates the success for you. Any questions on that? So I want to talk about two other things, and then we'll go into a plan for you guys. So first things first is I want you to think about, I call it the database target. And I actually think it's in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I'll probably do the page here in a minute. I'll find it quickly. I'm not. So you realize there's everybody in the world, and there's all these people in our city, and you can't really market to all those people. It's physically impossible. You'd run out of money. So what you have to do as a business professional is you got to take this ginormous city we live in and break it into target groups. And target groups means I'm going to go after this group. So a target group could be a farm area. It could be people that have similar interests. It could be an alumni group. It could be a charity. It could be a section of town, people that like cooking, whatever it is, right? And from the general population, you break it into target groups. When you create a target group, that's what the 19 to connect does. Because a target group means you have something in common and you want to have a relationship with them, but you don't yet. So you're running the 19 to connect on a target group in hopes of meeting them to build a relationship. Once you have the relationship, your regular sphere of influence, your extraordinary sphere of influence is on the 36 to convert. Make sense? Any questions on that? All right. Last thing I would say to you is email. And actually, let's go back further and then I'll come back to email. So I want you to think back to the 1980s, and some of you that may be too far back, but realize at one point in time, it was actually kind of cool to get a handwritten letter in the mail. And you'd get excited to go to the mailbox and receive a handwritten letter. And there was an energy around that. Well, then in the 90s, email came out. And believe it or not, people used to actually type personal emails to people, and they would look like some of your texts these days. They were long. And there was this whole culture of where they even made a movie about hitting the send receive button, like you would just hit it, waiting on a new email to come in. And there was an energy about that. And you kind of lost the excitement around email pretty quickly. Well, then it became texting, and we're neurotic with our phones around texting. And then it became direct message culture with social media, and what do they call it? Sliding into the DMs is what I think is the proper term these days. But and then now it's like this culture of seeing our friends on video on social media, right? So what you have to understand is there's this psychology to the consumer and what they pay attention to and what has energy around it, and how do you message that way. So think of that in terms of how you go about building your lead generation machine, one. But two, here's what I would say to you. It all works. You just got to do a mix of it. That doesn't mean abandon handwritten letters or don't email or anything. And I'll give an example. I bought a Mercedes a few years back, and somehow I'm on the email list. And I know that I get an email once a month from the dealership, but I don't read it. But as a consumer, I know it's there. But if I get to a point in my life where I'm like, I think I want to buy a new car, I'll actually read that email, because now I'm in tune with the message of what they're sending. But subliminally, I know it comes to my inbox once a month. So realize when you're a real estate professional, you're going to send out this marketing, you're going to send out these emails, and you might actually get frustrated that nobody's responding or nobody reads it. But subliminally, they know it's there. And when it becomes relevant to them, they'll interact. So that doesn't mean you should stop sending it. Does that make sense? It's just a little part of the subliminal mind share game you're playing with your database and your consumers. So I just wanted to give you that encouragement, because I don't read those Mercedes emails, but I know they're there. Make sense? Any questions on that? All right. Okay, here's your warning disclaimer. Don't call somebody on the do not call list and get us all sued and shut down. And if you're not familiar with the do not call list, make sure you're familiar. There's some crazy lawyers out there that exploit this. And at the end of the day, we as professionals have a responsibility to make sure we understand this and abide by it. There's your disclaimer. Okay, on here's a QR code. If you want to scan this QR code with your phone, Niale made an awesome little QR code for us. She also has a link that will get you this form. And this form, I'll pop it up real quick after y'all scan that, is basically your plan. And we don't have to go through the entire form. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it gives you something to start with. What are your 4 current lead generation sources? What do you want your 4 lead generation sources to be in the future? How many lead generation calls are you going to make a day? If your 19 to connect touch campaign for leads looks exactly like the book says, that's what it should look like. If you want to modify it, feel free. I just tell you, if you got to understand, best practices means best practices. And once you're intelligent enough to make your own decisions and figure out how to do it better, go for it. But until that time, I would encourage you to adopt best practices. Not that we're not all intelligent enough, because we are, but I think you understand what I'm saying. It's these are best practices, and they're best practices for a reason. So everybody got the QR code. You got your workbook. The most important part of building the lead generation machine is your commitment to the pursuit of it. And once you commit to the pursuit of building a big lead generation machine, everything around you will fill in. Because this is the gas that goes in the car, if you will. This is the rocket fuel that takes the Richard Bransons and Jeff Bezos of the world to space, right? This is the stuff that's going to take your business to wherever you want to take it. So that is what the lead generation model is, guys. Any ahas, questions, concerns? I am certainly here to take it.
This is Christine again. I would like to make a comment. So,
Please.
yes. So we started because, we are aware how important the lead generation is, and we also know how hard it is sometimes. And together, everything becomes easier. So we started the lead generation every morning at 9:30, ideally in person upstairs or via Zoom. So whoever would like to join us and, participate in the momentum, that will be fantastic.
Perfect. I encourage that, getting together with people, and just feeling like a normal person when you're nervous about doing it, or having a weird call, or not knowing what to say. We've all been through that process. So when you get together, and Christina, you're in the Midtown office, or you get anybody on here wants to get together with their office and get together with small groups, it's more fun that way. It's kind of like going to the gym and working out by yourself. We're working out with a group of people. You go through the same journey of life and trials and tribulations, and it makes it richer. So thank you for sharing, Christina. Anybody else have any ahas, questions, comments?
I'll just say that I got a little bit of freedom in something that you say. I got on late because I had a call, but right when I got on, I caught you talking about kind of just picking, that not going in all the different directions, right? Because I'm a couple years in, but I found myself always feeling this pressure of wanting to market and get into this and get into that, and oh my God, I gotta, all these different ways that I need to try and build business and get business. And you made me stop and think about the ways that I've actually gotten business, and it's been relationship, it's been referral, and it's like, just get great at that, get better at that, and do more of that, and have peace with that. Don't feel a pressure to do all these other things that other people are successful at, and that could work when you haven't mastered the thing that has gotten you the most business, because doing that will probably increase my business and I'll be, more comfortable. It's not that I don't ever need to get to the other stuff, but I can get more out of my business by being better at what has successfully helped me this far, and then probably increase and add that other stuff. That's kind of what I took from it. I hope that's what I was supposed to take from it. And I feel like by doing that, my business will grow. I'll grow with less anxiety, and then I will be able to add that other stuff.
There you go, Bruce. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for hearing the right message for you today, right? And ultimately, I'll teach this class again, and you may hear something totally different next time. And the cool part about being a learning-based individual is we always hear the message we need to hear at the right time. And it's just the fact that we showed up and we're available to hear that, right, is what you needed to hear today. So take it and run with it, my friends. All right, that's it. We're done. El finit. Happy Friday the 13th. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.